Ram Squad Show is back. Playoffs are here, and I refuse to believe that Bryce Young is about to end our season.
And what to do, squad? This your boy Brock, and time to get some get back on these Panthers.
What up, squad? Doug McKain here, and the Rams are going to be without their best offensive lineman, but it's not going to matter. Rams big on Saturday.
Whose house? Rams house. It's the Rams Squad. Everything Los Angeles Rams every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Here comes the Rampede. The Rams Squad Show starts now.
Yes, it does. Whose house? Rams house. Whose squad? The Locked On Rams Squad Show. The Mob Squad back at you. The first ever playoff episode of the Rams Squad Show right here on the Locked On Rams YouTube channel, podcast feed, all a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every way. The number one podcasting network for sports in the country. Before we jump into this one, today's show brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, especially the playoffs, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Boys, the playoffs are here. Not much else needs to be said. We're going to talk, obviously, about this rematch against the Panthers, everything we're expecting, the injury report, the weather report, how much of that Week 13 games matters, if at all. But before we do, Big Brock, how we feeling? I know you're a player. I know you talk about the lights being bright, but watching it now on the sidelines, how we feeling going into Saturday?
Man, feeling good, feeling good. Like you said, man, them lights get bright when the playoff time comes. So, man, I'm excited, man. We are one of few teams left as far as just on this Locked On Podcast Network that are still going. So I'm feeling excited. I know all eyes are on us. So, hey, we about to knock it out the park.
Amen. Amen. D-Mac, the vibes, we feeling good? We feeling nervous? You watching that weather report closely? What's it looking like over there?
Yeah, I think it's anticipation. It's excitement. I almost think that a loss against this Panthers team in Week 13 almost helps them because, you know, they watch the tape again and again. They know that they need to correct those mistakes, and they know that even without Kevin Dotson, you're playing your 18th game of the season. You're mostly healthy. You're getting guys back like Davante Adams, and you're getting guys back like Quentin, and this team's ready to lock in. They know they've got 4 games to win, and this team's on a mission, and I get that sense. This team is truly on a mission, and I think that the way this is shaking out, going on the road and kind of starting that revenge tour to beat a team that beat you, it's going to be the theme for the Rams this postseason.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We know that the way the season ended, not how we wanted. We thought we were going to be chilling at the friendly confines of SoFi Stadium, hosting teams, having Ramley out there and having, it was never going to be an easy run in the playoffs with how good and how deep this NFC is this year. But certainly it's a little bit challenging. Like you said, D-Mac, there's kind of this underdog mentality. And the reason we're in the position we are in is because, let's be honest, the end of the season, the Rams looked very far from that team we saw throughout the first, 11 weeks, 12 weeks of the season. I mean, it feels like just a couple weeks ago, it was 6 straight wins. You're beating Jacksonville by 28. You're beating the Saints by 24, handling business in San Francisco, beating Seattle, beating Tampa by a billion points. But then it was that Week 13 loss against Carolina that kind of turned things around a little bit. You did have 2 wins after that, but it didn't feel like the Rams were fully there. And then, of course, we see what happens the last couple of weeks, collapsing against Seattle, losing that shocking win against Atlanta. And then, yes, even in the Arizona game, you do win by 17 points. But let's be honest, an ugly game until really the fourth quarter. We'll start with you, D-Mac. We're going to get into the Panthers preview plenty in terms of what the matchup looks like. But we all agree this game comes down to what version of the Rams we see. How confident are you that we're going to see that Rams team that was looking like the best team in football the first, half, if not 80% of the season? Or are there nerves that we're going to see the team that just lost to Atlanta 2 weeks ago and looked very suspect against Arizona in the first half?
So, yeah, I think there's a couple ways you can look at that. I mean, I think the optimistic Rams, and analyst and fan in me wants to say, oh, they're just going to come out of the gates 10 out of 10, all systems go. They're going to be at 100 right when this starts. I don't think I can say that with all confidence. I mean, fair expectations for Quentin Lake that's still trying to get back in the mix. Davante Adams trying to get back in the mix, playing without Kevin Dotson. So I don't think it's going to be an all systems go. You're just winning by 50 Rams team. But I do think that it's still a good enough Rams team to beat the Carolina Panthers by 10 or more points. And that's just because I think that this Rams team's ceiling, when everything is going right, you look at their overall PFF grade, you want to bring that up, it's the best in history as far as just offensive defense, their raid stats. When Stafford's feeling it, it's a dynamic run game. It's a two elite wide receivers. It's a 12 and 13 personnel. I think Tyler Higbee having 5 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. Colby Parkins having a touchdown. If you are a defense looking to stop this Rams team, there's so many ways they can beat you. So I'm confident that if they play mistake-free football, turnover-free football. I rewatched the Week 13 loss, and a couple things I saw was mistakes that were unfortunate, but some fluky stuff. I mean, anytime, like Peyton Manning used to say, if a pass gets deflected and it gets intercepted, it sucks, it's terrible, but it happens, right? That's what led to an interception inside the 10 that would have made it a 14-7 game early. And then Mike Jackson made a really nice play on a ball where they're playing quarters. And one thing about Matthew Stafford, I know you guys know this well, he's going to trust his talent, he's going to trust his receiver, and he just threw it to a window where the guy made a play. And then later on, we saw Matthew Stafford just fearless going right back to it, and Puka Nacua made that one-arm catch, and they almost won the game. So I think for Matthew Stafford, he's going to be a little more careful with the football, knowing how important it is for the Rams team to play clean football. And that's really the only way I think the Carolina Panthers can win this game is if they find a way to run the football with consistency and the Rams turn the football over. That's kind of their path to success. But I look at just every single angle of this game, and I feel like the Rams just a much better football team from top to bottom.
I mean, absolutely. I know Big Brock, a big fan of the PFF reference 5 minutes in, and we were
I saw a look out of
there.
the corner of my eyes, and I regretted saying it immediately. And by the way, the more that I talk, the more I'm nervous about losing. I just want to point that out.
Oh, geez, don't say that. We're only 5 minutes in. I don't know how nervous we're going to be when we hit the hour mark. I'm scared there, but no, but all jokes aside, and by the way, there will be more PFF references. I feel like we got to get them all in as much as we can. We only got a couple more, hopefully plenty more, but still, we're in the playoffs. We got to get as many in as we can. But Big Brock, I'm curious. Obviously, you gave that great analogy talking about the lights being brighter, about the nerves that come with this matchup. But how much does what has happened in the previous few weeks for the Rams contribute maybe to that pressure, or does it not matter? Is it almost like, look, if you're not locked in, dialed in, ready to give everything for this game, like what is wrong with you, right? Like which one is it? How concerned are you about what we've seen the past couple of weeks heading into the biggest game of the season?
I just got to lead with just experience, man. This team is experienced. This is a young team that has experience, and that's what's scary. It's that they were a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl last year, going to Philly, so they understand what it feels like to go away and win a game. Matthew Stafford knows what it takes to win games in this playoff. I agree with D-Mac, man. If we can play a clean game, the biggest thing is not trying to do more than what you need to do. Matthew Stafford loves to go for the deep ball, the deep shot. Obviously, during the season, you want to hit your numbers. You want your guys to hit their numbers, and that's understandably that makes sense. But in the playoffs, it's about winning. It's about winning. Hit your check downs. Let's stay ahead of the sticks. Let's play the way that teams play against us. Let's control the clock. Let's score in the red zone, and let's get away. Win in somebody else's turf. Go back home, possibly to have a home game. So, we have the defense that can travel as well. So for me, it's about, like D-Mac said, man, if we can play mistake-free football, we have a very high chance of winning this coming Saturday. What will we play, Saturday or Sunday?
We're Saturday. We kick this thing off, right? And that's the thing too. Like the further we get in these playoffs, when we start playing teams like the Eagles or the Seahawks, we're going to have much deeper, nuanced conversations about how to beat these opponents. But I think when you talk about the Panthers, this is no slight on them. It's not to discredit them. it's just the truth. I mean, you look at that Week 13 loss and how the turnovers impacted that game. You have 2 interceptions, including a pick 6 by Matthew Stafford. Also, though, you're driving at the end of that game to maybe get a game-tying field goal or take the lead, and he fumbles the football, and they end up scoring 31 points. The truth is, without 3 turnovers, they probably don't score more than 20 points on Saturday. So, of course, not every game is just exactly like the last time these two teams matched up, right? And things are different, and they're going to have the benefit of playing the Rams to make some adjustments too. But there's just so many things that are in favor of the Rams in this matchup that really, I think it starts with turnovers. And another thing too, I mean, you can definitely get Brock's insight on this, Gavin, is the weather is going to be a factor, as you point out. I mean, what does that mean for the Rams as far as consistently running the football with Justin Dedich having to fill in for an injured Kevin Dotson? And then also the reason why the Panthers won the last game is they were consistently running the football with Hubbard and Dowdle. So, I mean, that's kind of the game within the game there is who wins the war in the trenches and who can be more efficient on the ground. So I still like the Rams in that advantage too, though.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think what's the saying, Jimmys and Joes over X's and O's. It's one of those rare situations in the NFL where, there's a team that has a clear advantage with the Jimmys and Joes, but also probably an advantage with the X's and O's as well, right? So like you're saying, DMAC, as much as you want to respect the Panthers, and we absolutely do, and we absolutely will throughout this show talk about some of the key matchups and the key differences in this game. At the end of the day, that's why I wanted to start with that. It's about what Rams team we see above all else. I think anyone would be crazy to say that if the Rams play to the level that the Rams have played throughout 75, 80, 85% of the season, that they're not huge favorites to win this game. And on to add to that, kind of the silver lining, even if you say, hey, the Rams are kind of struggling the last couple of weeks, we don't know what team we're going to see. Let's not forget the state of the Panthers right now. Yes, they're a division champ, but people aren't only overlooking this team because they have the record they do of having a losing record and winning a division. The other reason you're overlooking this team is you're supposed to be playing your best football coming to the playoffs. Maybe the Rams are playing 75% of their best. The Panthers are arguably playing their worst football of the season. This used to be a team that would just win or lose every other game in a row. They literally had a stretch from week 7 to week 15 where they won or lost every other game. But they're coming off back-to-back losses. They kind of made it interesting against Seattle, but were never in that game. And then in a win or go home, theoretically game, right? You can't get more excited, more locked in, more focused than a win or go home game to win your division. And they lost the game, right? Like the Panthers can't be coming into this game any lower. And part of me, like you're saying, DMAC, as I'm saying this, is getting a little more nervous because you can hear the narratives. You can hear the Disney movie being created right now. But still, if you're a Rams fan concerned about how the Rams have been playing as of late, imagine how the Panthers fans are feeling. They have not been playing any worse. Bryce Young threw for 54 yards 2 games ago. 54 yards. So, yeah. Sorry if you think we're being disrespectful and saying 99% of this game is going to come down to what version of the Rams we see. And I'm sorry, that's just the state of things. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we will talk plenty about the matchup. We're going to revisit that Week 13 loss a little bit more, remind you of some of the other key plays outside of the turnovers, talk about what's going to be different this time around with the injury report, the weather in Carolina, and those playoff lights that Big Brock keeps mentioning. But we're going to take a break. And we got plenty more to talk about on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. Now, on this Friday, exactly one day, we're one day away from Rams Panthers. Today's show, once again, brought to you by FanDuel. Now, look, the wild card round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode, just like all of us. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action, because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Now, look, each game day, you'll see a pack leaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to bets you like most. All you got to do is open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. The boosts let you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're back in momentum, defense, quarterback play, or coaching. Oh, by the way, all things I think the Rams have an advantage on Saturday. The boosts give you more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new, and every play feels bigger. The boost can make your bets feel that way too. So make your picks, then apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. Visit FanDuel, an official sports partner of the NFL, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. The playoffs are here, and so is FanDuel. Back here on the first ever playoff episode of Locked On Rams Squad Show, the Mob Squad here, as we are just hours away from Rams, Panthers at Bank of America in Carolina. I don't know about you guys, but I've been looking at that weather report a lot, maybe a lot more than I should be, just because I, like most of us, feel like the only way the Panthers shock the world and win this game is if it's ugly in every way. I'm talking not only Bryce Young ugly throws, not only those, in my opinion, somewhat ugly Carolina Panthers uniforms, but ugly weather, ugly football, rain, wind, sloppy, runs, fumbles, turnovers, kind of like the things we saw in week 13. As of now, it sounds like the weather is going to be kind of right in between horrible and average. I think some rain might be there, some wind might be there. It's not going to quite be, flooding or something, but certainly not bright and sunny like it would have been at SoFi, which certainly would have been advantage Rams. But yeah, let's jump way more into obviously the matchup with the Panthers. Like you said, D-Mac, looking back at week 13, the big storyline being the turnovers. Rarely do you see a game where one team turns the ball over 3 more times, and yet still, even then, feels like they should have won the game. You take those away, it should have been a Rams blowout. But not just that. We can't forget about the fact that 2 of the Panthers' biggest plays, really their only touchdowns in the ball game, come on, very close 4th and 1 passes, deep balls, things that are not high probability plays. It feels like the Panthers, outside of the turnovers, got lucky in that one. And I think all eyes are going to be on this Rams secondary. You talked, D-Mac, about Quentin Lake being back. Hopefully we see a good version of him. But even if he is back, Ahkello Witherspoon still doesn't look like he's back to his normal self. Emmanuel Forbes has been so up and down. How are you feeling confidence level about this secondary going up against a Panthers offense that feels like, outside of the run game, they need deep balls and some jump balls, some luck, honestly, in order to put points on the board?
Yeah, I think in this game with the weather, like you pointed out, I think it could make them more one-dimensional, and they're going to try to run the football. And if that's the case, do the Rams load up the box to stop Hubbard, to stop Dowdle? Because you kind of look back at that game, it's not like we saw the massive, explosive Saquon Barkley's type of runs, or Jonathan Taylor, CMC, those type of explosive runs. It's just they were getting chunks. They're getting 5, 6, 7 yards, and they were putting him in third and favorable situations. They went like 3 for 3 on 4th down in that game, if I remember correctly. They were efficient on 3rd down, but also a lot of success too. 93 yards running inside the tackles. So I think that if they are going to be one-dimensional and then they're going to take some shots, well, that's when you have to really make sure that you're getting pressure, and if not, you're possibly blitzing Bryce Young. And we know it's a Rams team. They blitz 17% of the time, around that number. They don't love to blitz, but Bryce Young is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL when it comes to the blitz. So I'm curious to see if they're going to let him get time to take some shots, because, look, Ted McMillan is a really good receiver. And with the Rams cornerbacks playing the way they have been of late, going against guys like Michael Wilson and Ahkello Witherspoon, had the interceptions, kind of an underthrown ball, it's really going to be a big test for them to take advantage of any opportunities that come their way. And I still believe in this Rams team secondary with Quentin Lake back, because I think he's going to help stop the run. And I'm really looking at Cam Curl, because Cam Curl really has struggled in the last couple of weeks. I think that has really hurt the overall cornerback play. But look, that's absolutely what we're going to be looking at with this team. I think you're going to see a much better version of the Rams defensive line than we've seen the last couple of weeks, when it felt like they were in a little bit of a slump, just because they're ready to roll. And that's a Panthers team. They're 32nd in pass protection. So they should be able to get home and get pressure. But yeah, that's that when you get big physical receivers, which the Panthers do have. We're looking at Emmanuel Forbes. We're looking at Kobe Durant. We're looking at Ahkello Witherspoon. And if they're getting beat, they're getting beat deep early and often, it's going to be the recipe for the Panthers to pull off this Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson level upset.
Yeah, I mean, one interesting kind of narrative or you could say it's a narrative, you could say it's stats, it's more PFF, Big Brock. I'm sorry. But one interesting thing in terms of the secondary was going into that Panthers game, the first 12 weeks of the season, the Rams secondary, when it came to one-on-one coverage, man-to-man coverage, top 3 secondary, at least in terms of PFF grade, which Big Brock, what does that mean, right? But top 3 in terms of the ability to get it done in one-on-one, man-to-man coverage. After that game, where you have a couple deep plays, guys get burned, Forbes gets burned, the second half of the season, secondary's fallen off. It's reminded everyone, all the Rams fans, that is our number one Achilles heel. What version do we see of that Rams secondary? Huge question. But Big Brock, I know I upset you with the PFF. Let me make you happy again when I use one of your sayings. I think it comes down to the Rams' ability to earn the right to rush the passer. Because DMAC, I hear what you're saying about blitzing Bryce Young. If you get pressure on Bryce Young, he's small, he doesn't have a huge arm, he's toast, right? But what's even better? What's even better is getting Bryce Young in a 3rd and 9 because you stop the run on 1st and 2nd down, and then you don't even need to blitz because I'm confident. You have to be confident that Jared Verse, that Braden Fitz, that Byron Young, that those guys are going to get in the backfield on a 3rd and long. Big Brock, how confident are you that we're going to be able to stop the run? Because you talk about how demoralizing it can be to have a team run and run and run. And even if they're only getting 3 yards a carry, I mean, let's not forget, yes, they had 164 yards on the ground against us. They ran the ball 40 times. They barely averaged more than 4 yards a carry. I know it's demoralizing, but you almost got to live with that. Big Brock, how confident are you in the front 7 to kind of hide some of those woes we've seen from the secondary?
Man, I'm extremely excited to see what the front 7 does come Saturday, just because I feel like this is going to be their second time seeing this game plan. It was weather issues in the first game in week 13. They're going to be weather issues now. I feel like the Panthers can't play outside of themselves, so I just see them going back to how they played us before. They're going to try to run the ball, which I feel like our front 7 should be expecting, knowing that there's going to be weather issues. And let's be prepared to stop the run on 1st and 2nd down. Let Shula dial up some run blitzes early on and early downs, and just see where it is. Because you talked about the quarterback being one of the worst quarterbacks versus pressure. For me, it's seeing Bryce Young. How does he handle that pressure? Like you said, in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8s, 3rd and long, where our front 7 can pin our ears back and go get him. So I feel like our front 7 can definitely get it done, especially knowing that this also makes them one-dimensional. I don't see them playing very well. I don't see them throwing the ball as much or being ballsy like we are. Like we got Matthew Stafford. We feel like any weather condition, he can throw the ball 40 times, But, for me, it's more about, controlling the clock. Let's just go win the game. Like I said earlier, man, take the check downs, take what they give you. Don't try to, go out and overdo yourself. Just take what they give you. I'm telling you guys now, I just think the experience part of being in a playoff under the atmosphere, like the lights, like I said, are brighter. I just feel like the experience will take us through this game. I feel I'm very confident in the Rams winning, but I just feel we'll win directly based on the experience. Obviously, our players are going to make plays, but I feel like experience is going to be a big key in this game. I don't see the Panthers being ready for this type of atmosphere, and I just look forward to seeing the front 7 get after it Saturday.
I do too. I think not only experience too, I think adjustments plus experience because of what they saw on tape. And the more you go back in that game, and I mean, I know, like I said, I was I was a couple drinks deep on a cruise ship when we did that post game show originally, right? And we were all optimistic, but after that game, just because we felt like, okay, it's the NFL, you're gonna lose a game every now and then, even if you're a really good team. But think about this: they were 0-1 in the red zone, but they still managed to score 3 touchdowns in that game, because all 3 of those came on those explosive plays. You had the one on the 3rd and 8 on the swing pass. You had the Ted McMillan. You had that 43-yard touchdown on the broken coverage right there. And what was really strange too is how good Bryce Young was on the downs that mattered. I mean, those other 2 touchdowns were on 4th downs, and he was 8 for 10 for 162 yards with 3 touchdowns on 3rd and 4th down in that game. So he stood tall in the pocket when he did have time. And look, let's call it what it is. Jared Verse, you go back and watch that game, he did not do much of anything in that one. And last year against the Vikings, it was the Jared Verse show going full Superman against the Vikings and Sam Darnold, and he really, really came alive. I mean, he's a bright lights. We had like official list, like the Brockers bright lights players of the game or something. You know what I mean? Like Jared Verse is certainly one of those guys who gets up for big games. But Byron Young, they just did not get any consistent push up front. And I have a feeling, as Brock pointed out, is if even though the Rams aren't a team that likes to blitz, they're going to stay to their principles. This is a one and done tournament. And if it gets close, if they look like they need a spark, Bryce Young, 30th against the blitz this year, 6 turnover worthy plays, 11th most of that position. He has just been rattled in those spots. So the last thing I want to see is them not getting results and just kind of going with the same style of defense. Because I think, too, one thing we should really mention in this is, like, man, this is a Rams team that how many people have picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl, even as a wild card? A lot of analysts and experts and people around the league. They have the second best odds to win the Super Bowl. They're looking at this as the first of a 4-game run. The Panthers are like, hey, man, it's great. We're in the playoffs. It's awesome. A home playoff game. We've got nothing to lose. And teams in the regular season, a team with nothing to lose is scary. But I think a team in the playoffs with nothing to lose is even scarier because you're at home. You got a full house. That means there's going to be Panthers fans everywhere, and they want nothing more than to be Cinderella. But the Rams got to make Cinderella into a pumpkin in this one because, you do not want your season to end to this Panthers team, man. We got to put some like prop bets what we're going to do if, we lose the Panthers, man. I say Gavin Carlson has to eat pancakes at a Denny's for 24 hours. You know what I mean? Come on, dude, take the bet. You're a betting man.
Hey, we'll see. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, the thought of having your season ended by Bryce Young is it's really terrifying. It really
hate
is.
Bryce Young. I love it.
I don't hate him. It's just like, bro, there should not be a guy that, like, what's funny about this is what you just said is so true about a team having nothing to lose already being scary. A team having nothing to lose in the playoffs is terrifying. Bryce Young plays every regular season game like it's the playoffs. He plays every game like the lights are too bright. But now with the lights being too bright, are we going to see what's going to be the chemical reaction there? Like, I have no idea, right? Like, if a guy is average in the regular season and then the lights get too bright, usually they fold. That's what we see with the Sam Darnold. That's what we see. You can make the argument a couple guys in the playoffs, like on both sides, right? Like the Trevor Lawrences, the Justin Herberts, like some of those guys that get criticized sometimes for maybe not getting it done in the playoffs. But when you are throwing for 54 yards in week 17, like, does Bryce Young have nothing to lose? Do we see him have that like one game he had this year where he threw for 350 because it was just like, F it, Tet's down there somewhere, right? F it, yeah. Jalen Coker's down there somewhere. Like, we could see that, and that's why the question about the secondary, it's so true. There's a scenario where, again, that was the game in week 13 that kind of broke this secondary a little bit and had them start struggling in one-on-one situations. Again, I hear you, D-Mac. I think it's going to be probably the biggest debate for the defense is how much you blitz, because all the stats say you blitz Bryce Young and he stinks. But part of me just thinks if you can have the fewest amount of plays of single coverage and the most amount of plays with safeties over the top to take away those blind chucks from Bryce Young, that's almost where I feel the most confident. It's an interesting debate. And last thing I'll say is, in the games that we've lost and the games that have been the most frustrating, that Panthers game, that Atlanta game, that San Francisco game, what was the common criticism of Chris Shula and this defense? It was getting beat by the one thing you shouldn't be getting beat on by those teams. Atlanta, it's all you got to do is stop Bryce Young. It's all you got to do. Kirk Cousins is not going to do anything. Or not Bryce Young, Bijan Robinson, excuse me. Guess what the Rams didn't do? They didn't stop Bijan Robinson. Niner game, Mac Jones, no receivers you've ever heard of. All you got to do is stop the check down. That's all you got to do. Guess what the Rams didn't do for 75% of that game? Stop the check down, right? Carolina, all you got to do is stop the run, stop the deep ball every once in a while. That one I feel a little about because you feel like the defense almost did enough. But that's what the criticism has been in the losses for Chris Shula is stopping the one thing you got to stop. And with this Panthers team, it's the run and the deep ball. I don't know. We'll see which way they do
And
it.
it is, look, I mean, the thing too, you bring up Ted McMillan. What 6'4", 6'5", 220, right? What's Coker? 6'3" ish, 220. Like from a dimension standpoint, that has the potential to be a matchup that they're going to exploit, right? That's why it all starts in the trenches with not putting them in spots where Bryce Young can get comfortable, because that's the biggest key to Bryce Young. I mean, he's not the worst quarterback in the world, right? But the difference between a comfortable Bryce Young and one that's being disrupted is a guy that has moments where he makes plays and makes mistakes like he is the worst quarterback in the NFL. So, I mean, I think that's kind of where the onus is on the Rams to kind of take advantage of that. And I think, too, on the other side of football, I mean, you look at the zone coverage for the Panthers. I mean, they're in zone coverage essentially the entire game, which really works into what Puka Nacua is best at, what the Rams are best at, and just finding those soft spots in the zone. And look, J.C. Horn's a really good cornerback. Mike Jackson's a really good cornerback. But that's why, honestly, this game really feels like a game where you want to see the run game like really be efficient like we've seen. And I feel like they're kind of becoming almost the Rams' secret weapon, just because it's tough to talk about Kyren Williams and Blake Corum when you have Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford, and Davante Adams. You're just not going to get your shine. But I think this game really is going to be won by the Rams offense. Like I really could see this team exploding even in the elements, just because they've had time to game plan. They have time to review film. They're going to be as sharp as nails in this one, knowing that, hey, this is like I said, man, this is the video game meme. You're leaning forward, man. The playoffs, you lean forward and you focus a lot more than you typically would in the regular season. So that's why I have a lot of confidence in this team. I mean, this team, look at the quarterback matches. We can go position by position, right? Where do the Panthers have an advantage over the Rams? At what position, right? I mean, there's kind of this myth out there that they have a good defense, just their offense holds them back. Truth is, they really don't have a great defense at all. It's just that the Rams make a lot of mistakes, and that's something that they can control and correct. And I expect them to do that on Saturday. I really do. By the way, you don't like the Panthers uniforms? You're calling it the Panthers uniforms.
Some of them. I don't know. You know what it is? I think you can make excuses for everything in life, right? You can justify calling it a uniform fire if the quarterback's throwing for 4 touchdowns and they're winning the game. Like when the game is as ugly as it is, just watching a Panthers game, like even the uniform might look good in the first quarter, but man, when you've watched 2 hours of the Panthers, that uniform starts looking really ugly because everything else in that uniform that's happening is looking ugly. I don't know. It's just like everything surrounding this team. It's just gross. And I know there's going to be people in the comments killing us for saying it, but I'm sorry. I don't even know what the plan is for them. I know we're wearing the whites with the yellow pants, but I don't know. Are they going all black? Or if Carolina goes all black, that might be interesting. That might kind of be
I like the Panthers uniforms. Not gonna lie, gives me like a 90s with a teal. You know what I mean?
I don't know. We'll see. Hey, maybe D-Mac, you want to see more Panthers football? You want to see them win this week and keep going on or something? What are we talking about here?
I hate the Panthers. Oh, come on now. I remember 2003 when the Panthers beat the Rams in that division round game, and I was like not an official Rams fan, but they were like my Madden team, so I kind of paid extra attention, because of course, they're in St. Louis. I'm I was like a fantasy football like video game fan, watching all the teams and stuff. So yeah, I mean, everyone loved that version of the Rams, so this is a little bit of a get back for history in that one too. So I'm excited to see that.
I would say I remember that game, but 2003, I was probably 11 months old or something. So I'll stay out of that one. I'll stay out of that one. We're going to take our break. When we come back, we got plenty more to talk about. D-Mac was hinting at it. We got to talk about the offense. And no, we're not just going to spend 30 minutes debating Stafford, Drake May MVP. We got actual things to talk about here. It's about winning a playoff game. So we'll talk playoffs. We'll talk offense when we get back here on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. Now, today's show is also brought to you by Robinhood. Now, look, nobody knows your money goals better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of your money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again, channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Back here live, Rams Squad Show. We are right there. We're right there. We're literally hours away from playoff football. And yes, D-Mac, you're right. The Panthers might be a little bit more excited about that than us, because that's all they expected, and maybe even more than they expected. We're expecting this to just be one of several games on the way to playing in. Talk about teams we don't like and vibes we don't like. It's going to be great winning the Super Bowl, knock on wood, but it's not going to be great winning it at Levi Stadium. It's a lame stadium to win it at. But still, that's the plan, is to be there in a couple weeks. For now, we got to handle business. And we talked about the defense. Let's talk about the offense. Of course, there's the Stafford talk. There's the Puka talk. There's Davante coming back. But I think it comes down to the run game. One last PFF thing for Big Brock. The Rams, I promise it's the last thing. Rams, number one in the NFL in terms of running duo, meaning double team run schemes up the middle, running with multiple offensive linemen, double teaming. And the Panthers, bottom 5 in the NFL against duo. You think, wait, if that's the case, why didn't the Rams win and run all over the Panthers in week 13? Well, guess what? They did. They did run all over the Panthers, in case you forget, right? Everyone talked about the Panthers running for 160 yards. They did it on 40 carries. How about 152 yards on 21 carries? The Rams almost ran for 8 yards a pop. So that duo kind of advantage that they have against the Panthers, I'd be surprised if you don't start the game with 3 runs up the middle, immediately set the tone. Big Brock, I know you like the Rams more than we're behind, but please tell me you envision them taking advantage of that advantage at the line of scrimmage.
Man, if we got PFF grades like that, I mean, why not just
You hear it here first. Biggest PFF number
PFF
one fan and subscriber,
right.
Big Brock. What is it? Big Brock _PFF. That's the new handle,
bro. So yeah, I guess if we're number one in PFF duo runs, I don't know what that means, but yeah,
double team runs.
No, I understand what a duo, but the fact that they're tracking that is just crazy. But
that's fair.
Yeah, if we can continue to run the ball, obviously. I expect to see, go back and look at the week 13 loss. And if they notice what we noticed was continue to run the ball. Why allow this team to, come back into the games? Why stop the clock? Things of that nature. Like, let's run the ball. Just go out here and win the game. Like, why try to pad our stats? Why try to, force Davante the ball when they're bracketing him in the red zone? Like, let's just go out there and do what we do and win this game. Like, we know what we have to do. We have the experience. Like I said earlier in the show, man, I just think our experience will show through this game. You will see the Panthers make a lot of mistakes. I don't want to make my prediction, but I see the Rams winning big just based on the fact that I don't see Bryce Young, as you say, you state, I think the lights are just going to be too bright for him. And, the Rams are going to take this one, to the house. So, I'm like I said earlier, man, I'm excited to see what we do, because this has to be some get back for early in the season. That was a fluke loss for our team. And I hope the guys are fired up in the locker room for this one.
Yeah, I want to see Jared Verse go over there, grab that thing, and hit that Panthers drum. It's after how they like to do this, go full troll mode. But Brock, you mentioned the return of Davante Adams, and I think that can't be overstated. I mean, the Rams go 1-2 in their final 3 games. Is that a coincidence? It was the 3 games that he missed, and he still led the league with 14 touchdown receptions, and he missed the last 3 games of the season. He's so pivotal to what they do in the red zone, and he takes some pressure off of Puka Nacua, and he's here to do a job, right? You didn't sign Davante Adams for September, October, November, December. You sign him for January. You sign him for early February. He's here for this purpose, and I think that's going to take this offense to another level too, from what we've seen the last couple of weeks. But you mentioned it, Gavin. I mean, going in back and watching that game, the biggest head scratcher, kind of makes you like pound your fist on the desk, is like, why didn't you lead on the run game more because of how much success they were having in that run game? I mean, you have Blake Corum and Kyle Williams averaging over 5 yards per carry. They combined for 153 yards on 15 carries. Let me repeat that. They combined for 15 carries. When it's a game that's basically a one-score game and your quarterback is not having his best day, there's weather involved where it's rainy, why aren't you running the football more? I'll give you an example. I mean, you look at that red zone interception by Matthew Stafford. I mean, the Rams threw the ball 3 straight times after Blake Corum had carries of 14 and 6 yards. And the interception comes on that third and goal at the 8-yard line. But, I mean, you look at that situation. I mean, you got to run the football if you're having success with it. Because, look, I mean, this is another thing, too. I mean, you want to make sure that you're not burning out Puka and Davante when you don't need to. Like, I mean, let's let those big dogs eat if they're efficient on the ground. And that's kind of a way that you really control this football game. And I think, too, on top of everything else, the more time you dominate the time of possession, the less time Tet and Coker and the Panthers have to get a big play to try to exploit that secondary for the Rams. And I think that's another reason why, yeah, look, the run game, if we're going to kind of list off most important things for if they're good at that specific thing, it's going to be deep run. I think the run game's top 3. I really do think it is because, man, I just feel like Kyron and Blake Corum are so fresh. And I love the fact that they're confident enough to play this game without Kevin Dotson. Like, if the Super Bowl was Saturday, K-Dot's going to play, right? If they're playing the Eagles Saturday, I think K-Dot's going to play, right? I mean, Jalen Carter, guys like that. So I think they feel pretty confident knowing that, hey, we go out there. And think about Justin Dedich, too. He's terrible at pass blocking. I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all. It's like that meme, that dude, the security guard with the blue thing. He's letting people in. He's not checking at all. Like, that's Justin Dedich, right? But run blocking, he's not terrible. And that's why I think if you're not putting him in as many pass situations and you're playing to his strengths, I think they do if they're having success on the run. But we all know Sean McVay, man. My man likes to pass. And let's come on, Sean. We need you to run the football on Saturday, right?
I mean, yeah, all signs point to it, right? Whether you want to talk about the weather, what's one way to avoid it? You run the ball. If you want to talk about, yes, we're so happy Davante's back, but let's not act like this was he broke an elbow and it re-healed and now he's good to go and there's nothing to worry about, or he had a concussion, he's out 2 weeks. No, this is a soft tissue thing. This is something where you don't want to instantly have this guy running 50-yard goes, and needing hurry up offenses and all. It'd be very nice if we just had one of those drives that infuriates all the Drake May MVP advocates where you just run the ball, you get down to the 1-yard line, and then you throw the fade to Davante, right? That would be a wonderful drive. We don't need him trying to make jump balls 40 yards down the field, sprinting and all that stuff. That aspect of it, the Davante returning, let's ease into it. And then you talk about the strength of the Panthers defense, and it is probably the secondary. Another reason to run the football. Like, you talk about Dedich, another reason to run the football. Like, Sean McVay knows more football than any of us will ever forget. And yet it concerns everybody that he might overthink things. No, he's too smart to overthink this. I think the only scenario where the Rams don't run the ball at least 30 times is if they're somehow down in this ball game. And I know Big Brock likes when the Rams are behind, but man, I don't know about you. The playoffs, as a fan, it scares the living crud out of me. Let's take the ball first. Let's run the ball 5 times. Let's go up 7-0 and let's take a deep breath and be like, that's right. We're way better than that team. Let's just punch them in the mouth right away and make it an easy game. I mean, if the Panthers ran the ball 40 times in that game in week 13, how many times should the Rams run the ball? Like, is it crazy to say the Rams should run the ball 40 times, right? Like, no, it's not. The Rams have no reason to not have, and it's not one running back having the load, right? It's a perfect split. You could go 15 carries. Both guys will be fresh, man. I'm fine with having Stafford have a calm game where it's 12 passes, 13, 14 passes. I'm really okay with that. I think they would be just fine. Terrence Ferguson, do we see him play? I know he's questionable. I know, part of you says let's run 13 personnel. The other side of you says Davante's back. Why would we do that? D-Mac, you expecting Terrence Ferguson to play? You expecting 13, or are you expecting to go back to 12 with Davante and Puka?
I would expect, even if he does play, not to have the biggest role, just because, I mean, like we saw him getting eased into the regular season. Maybe that's the same thing for the playoffs. And also, I think big rig, man, Tyler Higbee, dude, do not sleep on this guy. I mean, I think there it is. There it is. Yeah. Get that big rig, get that 18-wheeler in. I think that this is a little bit of a last dance feel with him and Matthew Stafford. I think that he almost was auditioning for a role in the playoffs with his performance against the Cardinals. So I think with the return, and Davis Allen, can't sleep on him, and Colby Parkinson, yes, none of those guys are going to stretch the field like a Terrence Ferguson is, but like we said, if there's going to be an emphasis on the run game, Tyler Higbee is a really, really good run blocker, so I think that is going to play into his strengths right there. But, yeah, I do want to go back to something you said about kind of the Panthers as a whole and just kind of the setting the tone early. Like, you know what's wild? This is the first playoff game for the Carolina Panthers since the Cam Newton era, since 2017. So they are going to be juiced, man. And the best way to take the home field advantage, atmosphere, excitement out of play is by setting the tone with an early lead. Go up a couple scores, go up double digits. All of a sudden, it's quiet in Carolina, and you're also kind of keeping the football away. I mean, you know what's wild? I told you the Rams, we talked about how the Rams ran the football 15 times. The Panthers ran the football 35 times. They're going to try to play keep away. They want to keep the ball out of the hands of Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, and that's how they're going to try to do it. So, yeah, I mean, we that's the thing, too. Last couple of weeks, I mean, the Rams have played with their food against the Falcons, against the Arizona Cardinals to end the season. You know they're going to be locked all the way in. They really came out hot in that first matchup. It was just the turnovers and interceptions. So, yeah, I think that's absolutely pivotal is do not give them hope early, man. Do not give them hope early and go out there and just punch them in the mouth and never look back.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree
absolutely.
with both you guys. I agree with both you guys. I just going back to what Gavin was saying, I just think the run sets up the pass. Let's be honest. We know football enough to know that if you're running the ball well, that opens up the pass game. And that's what happened in that week 13 matchup. You know, the Carolina Panthers were running the ball they wasn't running it well, but they were running it often enough for your DBs to be checking in the backfield, looking to see, you know, if they have run support and things like that. And then you got T-Mac going over your head. You got Coker going over your head because it's a run play action fake and they're getting, you know, deep shots. So for me, it's, you know, let's reverse that, you know, for the Rams. Let's take that formula and use it for ourselves. Let's run the duo. We know that they're last place against the duo runs. Let's run the duo plays, be very productive. Take that to use, you know, and using our play action pass game for the D shots down the field. We got Davante, we got Parkinson, we got Higbee. I just think this is a game where, you know, we're besides K-Dot, we're pretty healthy, and if we're playing this game the way we should, with just controlling the clock, taking what they give us, then I see that's being a big part of our game. That play action pass, running the ball, and just getting out there with a clean victory, getting out there healthy as well. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, I think that's the game right there. I really do. I think it's championships are one of the trenches, and that sets the tone for this run. If you're winning on both sides of the football, stopping the run, and you're running the ball efficiently, that's going to win you the football game, as well as limiting turnovers. Because, yeah, I think that's the recipe for the Panthers. I mean, there's when Bryce Young gets into a groove, and every now and then, think about Bryce Young, he's weird because every now and then he'll make a pretty throw on a play action, and it's like, man, like I'm pretty sure I could chuck one up to Ted McMillan in that situation, maybe make a play too. But it's kind of like you talk yourself into, okay, maybe, like just maybe, and we don't want to have like the last thing we want to have is big time opinion changes on Bryce Young on Saturday night based on his performance. We want it to be like, maybe they'll extend him. Oh, he's a buzz, like this and that. Like, let's further the Bryce Young as a buzz conversation. Like that really needs to be the goal for the Rams on Saturday.
Yeah. Absolutely. What you said about the fan base and everything, that's a great point that can't be overlooked as well. I almost forgot about how long it's been for them. You know, that place is going to be rocking. If you look at the comments on just like other shows or even just Twitter, like Panthers fans, it just sounds like, you know, that I'm just happy to be here. Like that's how they kind of feel. It's going to be a party there. Only one team has ever won a playoff game with a losing record. It was Seattle back in 2010 against the defending champ Saints. Everyone remembers that game because of the Beastquake, because of Marshawn Lynch. But as we know very well, Seattle, that place was going to explode. And why? They stayed in the game. It made that fan base believe that they had a shot. The last thing you want to do is have this game close in the fourth quarter, having that that crowd get as loud and chaotic as possible and make this a crazy game where there is a tip ball interception, where there is a fumble, where there is a missed field goal, where there is a special teams play. You know how you can eliminate all of that? Just handle business in the first half. Look like a team that you looked like in the fourth quarter against Arizona. Play that same game that we did last week against Arizona, where it's close at halftime. I don't think there'll be a 14-0 fourth quarter where the Rams dominate and get a blowout win. I think it gets really scary and really interesting. So let's not even flirt with that. Let's not try to make any more history for a losing record team. But we're going to take our last break. When we come back, the moment everyone's been waiting for, predictions. Will the Rams handle business? Big favorites. We'll talk about that after our last break here on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. Now, finally, today's show brought to you by Rocket Money. Now, let's be real. Let's be real. It's 2026. Everyone's worried about all the resolutions and everything. And I don't know about you, but I personally say I'm going to be better with my money and all that. But let's be real. Managing your finances, it can feel overwhelming because between subscriptions you forgot about, bills that keep going up, and trying to figure out where all your money is going each month, it's easy to feel like you're losing control. And who has time to track every transaction or hunt down hidden fees? That's where Rocket Money comes in, the personal finance app that helps you take control. It finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Now, look, I've had Rocket Money for a while. I'm not shocked by anything anymore, but at first I was shocked when it showed me I was paying for a gym membership after I'd already moved out of LA. I'm like, what? I thought I had that canceled. Why am I still paying for it, right? I love how it tracks all your subscriptions. It lets you cancel them right in the app with just a few taps. No more hunting down customer service numbers. And the automatic transaction categorization is a game changer. I can finally see exactly where my money is going in each category each month. So let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/locked-on. That's that's rocketmoney.com/locked-on. rocketmoney.com/locked-on. Back here live, Locked On Rams Squad Show, the Mob Squad, playoff edition, Rams, Panthers, tomorrow, Saturday, first game to open up the playoffs in 2026. If everything was great, we wouldn't be playing this weekend. But hey, enough of that. We're playing this weekend. Let's handle business. We'll start with who wants to go first in making this prediction. I know D-Mac said he was going to get more nervous.
I'll go.
So let Big Brock. He said the lights are bright. He wants it. Yeah. Let's hear it, Big Brock. What are we feeling?
Yeah, man. Just based on everything that we talked about, and obviously them playing in Week 13, I think that helps us out. Looking at the self-scout, watching the film, just being better. Obviously, if we can eliminate the turnovers, I think we blow that team out in Week 13. So for me, man, I'm looking for a blowout victory. I'm going to give the Panthers some points, obviously, but I just think we're 31. I got my prediction 31-17. I think we win big. I see the Panthers maybe scoring in some trash time or whatever, but I see us winning big, getting a victory in Carolina.
I love it. There we go. Just for those who might not know, or I know Big Brock doesn't really care, but Rams favored by 10.5 points, over under around 49, 43, excuse me. So no, it might have been 49. I don't even know anymore. Something like that in the mid 40s. You expect they're expecting the Rams to win this game like 28-18, something around that. D-Mac, how do you feel? I know you said you're going to get more nervous as the talking went on.
A little more conservative than I want to go, just because of the elements. Sometimes all of a sudden you blink and it's like a slow first quarter or something like that. But I still got a double-digit victory. I'm going to go 27-16. I'm trying to help the the gang over on FanDuel over there, right? 27-16, and they take that dub. And by the way, we got some good mojo too. Last time Michael Brockers played in Carolina was in 2019, opening day, and the Rams win. And Malcolm Brown went off that game, 2 tutties, but Rams win 30-27. So we got the Michael Brockers in Carolina karma taking us over the top in that one. I'm just going to put that out there.
Look at the poll from DMAC. Look at that. That's professional sports media right there. Pulling out the research about his co-host. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a job. Let's hope that the Rams have the attention to detail tomorrow that DMAC just had right there. Now,
Googling Michael Brockers like every other day, man. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? My searches, it's like it's you too, Gavin. Google you too, man. Just don't,
there ain't no NFL highlights, I'll tell you that much. But I love how you went with 16 because the Panthers feel like that team that would have some random number like 16 as how many points they score in a playoff game, right? But I fell for the trap. I mean, obviously we all picked the Rams to win back in that matchup earlier in the season, but I fell I can't talk. I fell for the trap of saying it was going to be an ugly game. The Panthers make every game ugly. And then what was it? It was an absolute high-scoring affair, 31-28, like nobody expects. Everyone expecting a low-scoring game in this one. So my gut tells me don't fall for it. Pick a high-scoring game. But, man, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. The great J. Cole once said, I'm going to try to get fooled twice. I'm going ugly, low-scoring again. Give me 24-14. I think the Rams can score more. I don't think they'll need to. I think they'll be up like 17-3 going in the fourth quarter or something. Just make it an ugly game, something like that. So give me Rams 24-14, handle business. I guess I'll go on the opposite side of the FanDuel there, DMAC. We'll see. Hopefully the people trust you and not me in that regard. But give me the Rams to handle business in a surprisingly low-scoring game, given the weather, given the Panthers being the grossest team in the NFL, but give me the Rams winning, and that's all that matters. We got like a couple minutes left. MVP debate, just because I lied and said we wouldn't talk about
Super Bowl predictions. Super Bowl predictions.
Oh, okay. I like that even more. Super Bowl predictions.
What you got?
I mean, come on though. The Keep It 100 Rams podcast. Are we gonna stick with that mold, or are we believing in our team? If you ask me, I'm taking the Rams, man. And I'm not just saying it because I want to. I'm saying it because I believe it. This was the best team for the most amount of weeks this season. The only weeks where they didn't look like the best team, you said it, DMAC, they didn't have the NFL leader in receiving touchdowns. They had all the distractions off the field with Puka that you never have with this Rams team. And, oh, by the way, they didn't have the emotional leader of their defense, their captain, who went to the greatest university of all time in Quentin Lake in UCLA. So come on, like, how you expect the Rams to be at their best without that? Now they get the Bruin back. They get the distractions away from Puka. They get Davante Adams back. The only team that's favored higher than the Rams is Seattle. We know we should be 2-0 against Seattle. We know if we had to play them again, we'd beat them. Give me the Rams, host that Lombardi Trophy, certified Matthew Stafford, MVP, Hall of Famer. Start talking about those all-time rankings and where he needs to be. Call me a biased fan, but that's what I'm going with.
No, I love it. I love it. I like what you said earlier, D-Mac. This is like the revenge tour. But it's like, let's play all the teams that beat us in the regular season. Let's get the ultimate get back and get to the bowl game. So I definitely like playing the Panthers, going to Philly, then beating Seattle in Seattle, and then doing what we got to do in the Super Bowl. I like this. We should just take that revenge tour.
Oh, we get the T-shirt. Like we can have tour dates in the back. You know what I mean? Like little tour dates. Have like the checklist. Like Arya started the list from the Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. That's like the therapeutic thing about all this. I mean, that's why I think 2021. I mean, one of the special things about that was the whole narrative was Kyle Shanahan owns Sean McVay, but then Sean McVay got the biggest win of all the 49ers fans would give up 50 wins over the Rams to win that one game, because once you prove to yourself you could beat that team, you knew they were going to beat the Bengals. And yes, that was a close game. And Aaron Donald, well, he's Aaron Donald, and he did Aaron Donald things, and he went to superhero mode at the end. And it was a close game, but still, you just felt like that's where the Super Bowl was won. So that's why I feel like if you do run into an Eagles team and you find a way to win that game, the confidence that they would get from that, they're like, look, we've come too far just to get this far, and you got to finish the job when it comes to that point. I wanted to pick the Broncos, I don't know, like the Jaguars, I think are kind of interesting, but no one circles the wagons, like Chris Berman says, like the Buffalo Bills. And I know the Bills are a flawed team. And I know that Gavin just gave me a dirty look, but I just think that Josh Allen, you no Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow. If not now, then when? Right?
Yeah.
And you're going to a new stadium. Like, are the Bills that cursed of a franchise that they can't make? I mean, look, you got Drake May as a young quarterback. You can't beat Drake May. The Texans, I think, is the biggest threat because of that defense and winning 9 straight games. I think CJ Stroud's kind of a big game player too, and he's a special thrower of the football. It's just limiting mistakes. So I think the Texans are right there. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Texans go to the Super Bowl. But right now, I've got the Rams beating the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. There'll be a high-scoring game, something in the 30s, kind of like we saw last year at SoFi Stadium. And I got Matthew Stafford winning MVP regular season, Super Bowl MVP, rides off into the sunset and retires, and the Rams trade for Joe Burrow. And he's the quarterback opening day.
He's living in paradise. Yeah,
and then I woke up from a no. The Joe Burrow thing's crazy, but I still think honestly the first 2 parts of that dream are a lot more realistic than even us Rams fans love to believe. I think it's something that's very, very possible.
Oh man, well I hope you're right. I hope you're both right. I hope all 3 of us are right. And if we are right, it starts tomorrow in Carolina. So we'll be right back here. You're watching this on Friday, and then you're watching us again on Saturday, right after the game. Make sure you tune in right here, Locked On Rams on YouTube, on the audio podcast side. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you, not to sound like all the cringy YouTubers, but make sure you click that bell because you want to be notified the second we go live. You might be too busy celebrating the win and you might forget, wait, I got to go join the mob squad and hear about it after the game, okay? So throw those post noties on.
Man, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't, right? So we're going for that #1 spot this postseason, right?
Come on now.
Oh, man. Come on now. Who's the real K. D-Mac? Okay, coming in with the bars, my goodness. My goodness. But tour dates. But all right, we'll see you back here live right after the game. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Whose house? Rams house. Whose squad? Locked On Rams Squad Show, the Mob Squad. We'll see you right after that win against Carolina. Knock on wood. Let's handle business, baby.